What's going on, guys? It's EP from the Coach's Vault. We're missing all other 6 coaches today. Everybody got other shit going on. It's going to happen. All right, so we just got me and Marcus here, and we're going to kind of give you the most entertaining vault talk of all time. Okay?
Exactly.
We are honestly the 2 funniest guys on there, so you guys are going to enjoy this. Okay? No offense to anybody else, but we're pretty hilarious. So, what we're going to talk about today is your thoughts on conditioning versus cardio, okay? Bad relationships with food and people who have bad relationships with food, and how to find your niche in the field. I think that's a great one to talk about, especially from people that have been bouncing between a couple of different jobs like we have, and trying to really fit in. It's a great one. But why don't we start with conditioning versus cardio? So the question came up because I was actually listening to a podcast by oh God. I forgot his name. It's not coming to the top of my head, but it's from a podcast, RX Radio. The guy is great. I love him. I think it's Jordan Swallows. I think that's his name. It's a weird last name. I'm sorry. Okay. But he was talking to this guy who's a MMA coach. He's black jiu-jitsu trained, black belt. And it was a really interesting talk, and I was like really like listening to the deep details about the conditioning versus cardio, which again goes in more depth than what we're probably going to go into today. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, go ahead and check that out on RX Radio.
Okay.
So they went over like the differences between cardio and conditioning and how people kind of get them confused. So to actually start it off, why don't we go ahead and talk about what's your definition for cardio and what's your definition for conditioning, Marcus?
So cardio is just say like a fun pastime, almost in a way. Like you're just doing something just so that you can move. While conditioning is you're training your body for a specific driven purpose.
Yeah.
You'll see athletes get conditioned while people who are, trying to lose 5 pounds are just doing cardio. You're just moving for a certain purpose. So the difference is that you won't see like Michael Jordan, trying to do cardio to lose 5 pounds. No, he's trying to get conditioned so that he can be excellent in his sport.
Yeah, I think those are all great points. I think people kind of get it confused between the two. Well, they'll go run 5 miles and they'll say, well, I'm going to go do conditioning. Well, like, what are you conditioning for? So the point of you bringing up that is conditioning with a purpose. I think the purpose of conditioning is work capacity. You can get stronger within the purpose of your training. So if we're going to talk about general population who want to get stronger and want to move better, then cardio has its place. And we're not saying it's either or. Like, I'm saying that you should do both. Like, they should be they should be sources of somewhere that you can get your heart rate up. But conditioning is for a purpose, and I think a great way to do it, which is talked about in the podcast I was discussing before, they kind of do strength. They progress their conditioning, revolving around their strength program, and the conditioning also progresses. So I have this thing where I'm starting to notice a lot of coaches and a lot of people don't treat their conditioning as well as they treat their strength. Like, the strength has a reason. They're doing everything in the strength program to do it well. But I think the problem is that a lot of these people are like, well, let's condition, but I'm going to beat your ass, if that makes sense. There's no what happens is, I think what's going on in the culture right now is that conditioning has become not necessarily a punishment, but has become like something tough to do. To do it is not necessarily getting you better. It's just to kick your ass, which in turn turns into cardio. So
it's a good thing that you're not conditioned then, because you got to.
Exactly. And I'm fat, so like right now, either way, if I'm running or walking, I'm dying.
Conditioning is just being able to sustain a certain workload over a duration of time without fatiguing. It's like stamina. It's like stamina.
It's like stamina, work capacity. Your capacity to do the same amount of quality work multiple times.
Exactly.
That's basically what conditioning is. Yeah.
Yeah, so like you have to build up to that point where you like you can't see somebody, doing, you can't see like act like 800 runners all of a sudden, breaking world records out of
Mhm.
nowhere. Like no, they have to build their body to be
Yeah,
able to sustain a certain speed,
yeah,
2 laps around the track without
mm,
slowing down. So
yeah,
that's conditioning. Cardio is just somebody who's like just leisurely just going after a little jog,
yeah,
and then they put the count their steps at the end of the day. Like, yup, I'm doing some cardio because now I'm losing.
yeah,
I'm just looking at losing weight. Now I'm training my body for so like some grueling
yeah,
task.
yeah. What do you think about, I mean, we got to talk about CrossFit because CrossFit's big on conditioning with specific movements. What do you think about like conditioning for CrossFit? Do you think it's
Oh,
has
it's
a place?
amazing.
Like, what do you think? Like, what do you think about
It
it?
it is it is probably the best thing to do if you really are looking to get just being able to sustain a workload for over amount of time, being able to get in shape really quick. It's a great aspect, great thing to do. But there's so many things that people do wrong. Like, as they're getting tired, they forget about their form. So it's
Yeah,
like you see all the negatives pop up with CrossFit
yeah,
because people don't know how to take care of their bodies. But
yeah,
you do it correctly. You keep the weights at a
mhm,
manageable workload.
yeah,
You slow yourself down as you get tired. You focus about
mhm,
your form. It's the greatest thing because you will get conditioned to be able to do 25 snatches and deadlifts or
yeah,
handstand across a football field. Like
yeah.
you get used to that workload,
Mhm.
which is amazing.
Yeah. I think what happens, so this is my take on the CrossFit world and what's going on. I think it has its place. I think everything has its place. If you love it, like you love it. My thing is that the form bothers me because what's going to happen is that what CrossFit does that nobody else does is that they enforce you doing multiple reps or something. So something complex like a power clean or something complex like a snatch and something like that. Like like high volume almost to failure to some of these people that like never helped, like never really got the technique down. And what happens is that they'll, let's say like this person like been doing CrossFit for like 3 months or something like that. Let's just say that, and they're finally getting into the groove of things during that prime time of training age. I find it I find it I find it an issue when CrossFit goes ahead and be like, well, let's do like 100 snatches with an empty barbell, and you're gonna go and fatigue yourself and go and go. Well, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna do a hundred snatches like in a row, but you're gonna fatigue yourself and create bad habits by doing that in that constraint. You get what I'm saying? So my thing about the CrossFit culture is that, like, again, it has its place. I think it's great, and I think people who do it fucking well. But I have the injuries and the technique and the form. Like people forget like there's muscles that are gonna pre-fatigue that you use for these certain movements, like a squat and
That,
stuff like that. You know what I mean?
that
Or
is true,
like a
but
like overhead. Like I would never be like, let's go snatch overhead till you can't no more, or till you like an extended a crazy like a 50 pounds or something like that. And God forbid like your shoulder gives out or your rhomboids give out and stuff like that. And you can't effectively do it. And then you're teaching yourself bad habits, and then you're going to go ahead and mess something up at the same time.
no, which is true, but you gotta remember, like if you look at it as just a conditioning standpoint, it's the greatest thing in the world.
Mm.
But if you're looking at it as the safety precautions of how easy if somebody can tear the like labrum or
Yeah.
tear some muscle or tendon and like in their joint girdle, yeah, that's a whole different ball game. But we're
Mm.
looking at it just in the conditioning point, man.
I mean, I gotta think analytically. Like I'm trying to think best for the people. Like, yeah,
Oh,
I'm just saying I don't want them to be like, well, EP and Marcus said CrossFit's the greatest thing if I want to get conditioned, and they go ahead and do all these things and take it to heart. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm
oh,
trying to say.
I got you. I got you.
I'm trying to come for my neck and shit, bro. I'm just trying to help my people. But yeah, I think yeah. So if we're gonna kind of summarize it right there, I think uh cardio is just going out and going for a run and stuff like that. It's something to get your heart rate up. It's something for your lungs. aerobic exercise. It's oxygenated, like you're doing it for an extended period of time. Conditioning has its purpose to help you with whatever else you guys got going on. I mean, so if you're practicing strength, like doing a strength circuit, or maybe doing something like involving some power will help. So yeah, I think think that's a great way. That's a great way
Clean.
to kind of end that. But what were you gonna? Yeah, that's
That's
it.
it. It's
You
clean.
get that?
It's clean.
All right, that's clean.
You got
Okay.
it.
All right. So next question. All right. So this comes from one of Terrence's followers, and he just doesn't happen to be here because nobody fucking loves us today. But anyway,
Nope.
okay, no, they don't. Okay. But anyway, the person asks, I have a bad relationship with food. What are some tricks and tips that can help them? Some tips and stuff like that you use for your clients. Go ahead, Marcus. You go first this time.
Whew. First, I'm gonna say I am horrendous with food.
Mm,
Primarily because I look through life with blinders on because I don't like everything.
yeah.
Two, as a bodybuilder, it has changed the way I view food.
Mm,
So in many ways, the way that I look at food is not something that other people do. Like I look at macros instead of,
yeah.
fruit,
Yeah, you
carbs.
see,
Like,
you
but
see
some
a piece of chicken, you see a P, and then the amount of calories in there, or the amount of protein that you have in there.
yup. I look at the amount of I look at the amount of protein. I'm like, that's a protein source.
Yeah.
Chicken has roughly about this amount. That's how I look at things. So
Okay.
I don't even eat fruit as much because I'm not a big fruit guy because I think about the sugar content. So in reality, this is a real bad question for me. But
Yeah. Go
normally
ahead.
with a lot of my clients, I tell them, keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Food is meant to help you.
Yeah.
Um, if you want to have fruit, stick with fruit in the morning because the sugar and the carb aspect is going to help fuel you and get you
Yeah.
moving in the day. As well as maybe having fruit, before or after the gym. That'll help either fuel your workout or help you recover from your workout.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I always tell people. After that, I would tell people like stick to things that you enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
but limit other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you like to have peanut butter jelly sandwiches like myself, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Maybe limit yourself to be like a couple a week instead of doing it. I'm gonna try instead of doing like a whole pack a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sound
Mm-hmm.
like a fiend right there. But
Yeah. I mean, you do don't don't act like you haven't done it.
I have.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
no, you
But
just enjoy the food. You just limit yourself on how much you have on a day to
yeah.
day basis, even weekly basis. Because remember,
Mhm.
at the end of the day,
Yeah.
if you want to lose weight, you gotta make sure you're in a calorie deficient. If you want to gain weight, you gotta make sure you're in a calorie surplus. So as long as you're just thinking smartly about what you're eating, you're fine.
Yeah. I think 100% agree with you. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more to that. First finding out what the hell is the reason that you have a bad relationship with food. Like what makes I think people kind of have this thing where like cookies are bad and pizza's bad and this is stuff like that, and they kind of get in this mode where like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and eat that and I'm a bad person for it. So trying to
Mm-hmm.
figure out exactly what started that relationship and kind of educating the person to start. So my first tip would be kind of to educate yourself, look at some nutrition articles and write the same question you did in Google and maybe like a lot of stuff will come up. Next, what I would do is, like Marcus said, make it as simple as you can and enjoy the stuff that you enjoy. Don't take away so much so quickly. People kind of get like, well, I have a bad relationship with food. I'm going to be as strict as possible, and that shit don't really ever work. You know what I mean?
Nope.
You have to kind of find a way to be strict for certain times and be disciplined, but have like a time to like kind of enjoy yourself, like a cheat day or something like that. Well, again, cheat day means that day you're cheating, not the whole entire day, because then you kind of mess yourself
You
up.
mean so you mean that cheap meal?
Cheat meal, yeah. I call it cheat day because I'm overly excited for that day. Yeah, I mean, it's I mark it on my fucking calendar and stuff like that, and I'm
Yeah,
happy
but
there.
yeah,
But like, I'm
yeah,
just
but you
fat.
like
But I'm just fat. But anyway, what I tend to tell people is, let's just say somebody likes, let's just say they like candy bars. Okay, if you go ahead and have a piece of candy bar every day while maintaining the diet that has been prescribed for you or eating healthy and having a healthy lifestyle, You know what I mean? Have one. You know what I mean? It's not gonna kill you. And then you also gotta think about context with your food. So let's just say you haven't eaten anything all day, but there's a cookie right in front of you. Is it bad for you to starve yourself, or is it better for you to eat that cookie?
Go have that cookie, boo boo.
You have that cookie, boo boo. Okay, you go ahead and you have that cookie. So starting with a bad relationship, keep it simple. All right, like enjoy yourself while you do it, um, and then understand context. And what I would really do, and this is something that I really thought was stupid until like I actually did it, is start like not necessarily counting your calories. Like don't go OCD, and it doesn't need to be every single thing or measure every single thing, but understand what you're eating. Like go ahead, get a fitness power, like right, go get a journal and look at what you're eating throughout the day. Because what might actually be happening is that you have a bad relationship with food and you want to lose weight. You actually might not be eating enough to even allow your body to lose weight. Or what's
Okay.
worse is that you're eating so much, I mean, that you continue gaining weight because of that. So getting your facts in order is huge. It's like understanding
True.
exactly what you're eating. You know what I mean,
True. I
and then
got a food.
going from there, go backwards. You get me? So, and the one thing I hate, and again, this is a positive talk. The one thing I hate, I don't care what you ate today. Doesn't matter what you ate today. You know what I mean, it matters what you eat in a long segmented time. You know what I mean? Like everybody's like, well, like what's your diet like? And they tell you what they ate today. Like, no, man, like how has it been for a week? And then we can go from there because that week tells me your habits, your structure, how you do things, what happens when you're stressed. Like I don't care. Like yesterday might have been a good day and you might have ate healthy, but what happened to the other six? So that's just my take, and I think Marcus made some great points too. Just keep it
Yeah.
simple, enjoy your shit, man. Just enjoy it, and learn. I think that's the one thing. Like you have to understand, like we can only educate you so much. You're gonna listen to us so much, but if it's bothering you to the point that you have to ask the question, you have to go ahead and find the answer. Sometimes yourself.
Something I would like to tell people is buy a food scale, not just to like, solely weigh out your foods, but to
Mhm.
understand, from like a learning course, like a learning standpoint of how much food you can really have,
Yeah,
so that next time you be like, okay, if you're not writing down what you're eating, but you
mhm.
want to enjoy yourself, it's like, okay,
Yeah,
a real bowl is like one serving for a bowl of cereal is really small. So if am I going to waste, like a day where I want to have a limited amount of carbs on a small bowl of cereal? No, I'm
yeah,
gonna find the
mhm.
best food for my options. So
Exactly.
maybe it's rice that day. Maybe the day where I have, a higher amount of carbs because I'm gonna lift. I'm gonna go do like
Yeah, I'm
legs
gonna
that day.
squat, deadlift,
I'm
and
gonna
then what matters what you do. Exactly. Go ahead, keep
Yeah,
going.
and then I can have like two servings of cereal to make myself and like have an enjoyable
Yeah.
enjoyable size.
Mhm.
But I understand that certain foods, you kind of learn how to cheat the system for yourself. Like you learn what food looks like,
Yeah.
and then from there it's already stored in your mind. So now you
Yeah.
can always reference that without
Mhm.
having to weigh your food out.
Exactly. Understanding portion sizes is huge. I mean, like precision
You don't do
nutrition.
that though.
I've been listening a lot to. I've been reading a lot about them, and they do this like fist rule. Like if you're trying to gain weight, like you need to have like this much of carbs, and then or this much of protein on your plate, and this much of carbs. So like it kind of gives you a basic assumption of like, all right, well, this is where I need to start and this is where I need to start. And then you can kind of start eyeballing stuff. Because I mean, like you get to the point, like Marcus gets to the point where he can tell you he has a piece of bland fucking chicken, and he can tell you it's X amount of protein, X amount of carbs, X amount of protein, and it's because he is a bodybuilder, but at the same time, it's because he looks at it and now it's just becoming natural. You know what I mean? And sometimes he enjoys it. You know what I mean? And he enjoys eating his I don't know cake. He likes cake. It's weird that I know that, but I know he likes cake.
I do
But
like
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Just like you like cookies over there.
Oh, I fucking love cookies. Now I want cookies. Like this is a bad conversation. We're talking about bad relationships with food, and there I go. I'm gonna go get cookies right now. Let me go get my mask on. But but uh but yeah. So again, just enjoy yourself, um, and just try to learn. Try to ask questions. You know what I mean? I mean, people have bad relationship with food because nobody was really taught proper nutrition in school. So like cookies are bad and vegetables are good. I mean, yeah, vegetables are always going to be good, but I mean, if you have nothing else, man, like go ahead and you have like that peanut butter jelly sandwich. You go have that because you rather fuel yourself.
That's a good pump right
Especially if
there too, man.
you said what?
That's a good pump in the gym right there.
It is a great pump in the gym. But yeah, so and also work to your goal. So if you want to lose weight, you gotta be in a calorie deficit. You want to gain, you have to be in a calorie surplus. So and also like track that. You also got to go ahead and do all the math. But anyway, we're not gonna get too deep into that. But last question, okay? So the last question is another one of Terrence's. Okay, too bad, Terrence, you just weren't here, so we're gonna go ahead and ask you these questions. Okay, don't get mad. Okay, but I wanted to go ahead and do this one because I think this is big, and I think I'm gonna enjoy this one more than you are. But how do you find your niche in the fitness field? Like, how did you find yours, or have you even found yours yet, Marcus?
Personally, mine's just working with the general population.
Yeah.
It's something that I found it was just like it just came natural. I just automatically just got super interested on how people work out, why they work out, what they do on their daily lives, like what is their reason behind it. Like a lot of people, like in the general public, work out just to help them relax before going home, after a long day at work. What I
Yeah.
mean? It's like it helps them relax. So it's like they're like the little mini vacation to themselves, and they love it. The simple fact is that they go from the bus or the train to New York, dealing with all that hectic traffic all day long, to come and work out. It's like and to have them like squat 315, like they just feel at ease when they're done with the workout.
Yeah.
And every single time, everybody's like, I feel amazing, and they can't wait to do it again 2 days later. So that was just like what really kept me interested. It was just talking to people um, based upon their everyday lives or those average Joes, because they're the ones that I feel like they enjoy it the most.
Yeah. I think what happens is we all kind of get this thing where we're in school and we're getting our degree and stuff like that, and we love sports, and we all want to train athletes because they're more motivated to train. I'm telling you right now, that shit ain't real. They're not. They're equally. They have to train because it's mandatory. Like some athletes love it, and some athletes want to get motivated because they understand it getting better. But then you also have to look at the type of athletes. Like I've trained with Syracuse football, and the majority of those guys love to train. They love to come in there. They love to get a pump in. They love to get stronger. You get me, because it's for their sport. But when you go to basketball, bro, like basketball, they hated training. You know what I mean? And that whole turnaround of like you making them train and trying to like get them used to actually understanding that strength will only benefit them in preventing injuries was the only way to get them across. Yeah, I mean they felt better, but like their motivation to train was at all like was just a normal person. Like bro, like I don't want to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to train. That was only time to. You know
I
what I mean?
bet you wish that Michael Jordan documentary came out a lot earlier,
Yeah,
huh?
I mean a lot of people would have been different, but it's a thing where we all be like, it's all these young kids want to be like, well, I want to train athletes because Gen Pop isn't as motivated. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I mean, there's a majority of people who want to train, who want to get better, but it's all about educating these people to get in the right headspace, and people who want to get better pay you because they want to get better. So that in their self is motivation.
Exactly.
But but yeah, so for me, finding your niche, it's all about experience. You just got to do it. So I went from coaching, being a personal trainer and hating it because I just didn't like the whole. Um, I mean, I worked at Retro Fitness, man. Like I drove an hour to work, and I trained one person. I had to make calls, and I had to do this, I had to do that. I didn't get paid hourly, so I had one client. I trained him 3 times a week. I got the check after 2 weeks, or like 1 week or something like that. I don't remember. I still have the check. I only made $20.
That's just not.
I made $22.96. I
That's enough
have
for
that
gas.
check. It's not even cashed yet. It was, and
That's
I
enough for
quit that
gas.
day because, like, bro, the dude was paying like $700, and I'm only getting $6. I mean, I'm only getting like what is that, like 3 training sessions, like $6-7 per session? Like, no, man. So that made me fall out of love with it. But I always wanted to coach athletes because I mean I was previously an athlete. So I coached that. I coached that. I mean, I interned at Syracuse for a little bit. I coached football. I coached that at LSU, and I loved it. Like I'm not saying that I don't love coaching athletes. It's something that I think is one of my it's a good of mine. But I also enjoy doing things that I enjoy.
Right.
So in the sense of that, it's just being a collegiate strength and conditioning coach. I loved it. I love training my athletes. I love that whole atmosphere, the whole culture. But the whole culture becomes your life because you're there 70 hours a week. Like you're there for for away games. Like you're traveling with them. You're there for practices. You're there for this. Like it became my life. And it's not like I didn't want to, but like, man, I want to do other things. So I've always wanted to own my own business. So Gen Pop came along, but I always have that niche of training athletes. So
Right.
what I would say, if you want to go ahead and find your niche, try everything. You know what I mean? And then sooner or later, like you'll get into something. Like, man, I never thought I'd be training fucking marathon runners. Like, I'm a fat piece of shit who hates cardio, but like I'm training marathon runners. You know what I mean? Because they because of my experience as a college strength coach, they trust me. So getting into one niche like opens the door for other niches, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think what you want to do when you're finding your niche is don't lock yourself down into one aspect. Don't be a guru of something. Be um be a generalist. You know what I mean? And it's not the sake that you can't go ahead and be great at one thing. Be great at one thing, but no other shit. You know what I mean? Because you never know when you're ever gonna need that. And I think that's what usually happens is that like these people want to train one person. You know what I mean? I want to train women. I want to train this. I want to train that. But then, yeah, I mean, what happens if that doesn't work well? What happens if like not a lot of women want to train with you, or not a lot of pregnant women want to train with you, or guys that are under the age of 30 don't want to train with you? So then you're gonna have to find something else. So allow yourself to fail and allow yourself to reach all avenues that you can. I mean, and then at the same time, like if you ever feel like you're stuck somewhere, um, I mean, right now, technically we're all stuck in
Yo,
quarantine.
for real, it's quarantine
So
every day.
I was about to say, uh, like intern. You know what I mean? Like try different places and see if you enjoy it, because that's also a big thing. You have to enjoy it, and that's what Marcus was just saying.
Yeah.
You have to enjoy the niche that you're in, because then that niche becomes your life too. You get me?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
so, because once you actually enjoy it and you have passion for it, people see it, and then more people get into what you're training and how you're training it.
And it
You know what I
gets
mean?
so much
So,
easier after that.
and it gets so much easier after that. You know what I mean? People feel passion, people feel energy. I don't really like, it's not like I'm saying go ahead and like everybody has to have crystals and be that weird person that like energy follows you and stuff like that. But it's true. If people see that, people see that and they feel that. I mean, if you're not in a spot that you enjoy, you know what I mean? Like nobody wants to be around you. That's negative energy, bro. So
Mhm.
enjoy what you're doing first. Try everything. Don't guru yourself, generalize yourself. And I mean, just
Shit, if you happy and you love it, to stay with it.
and just stay with it. I mean, you can do this forever. Like coaching is a young man's game. Let's be 100% real. Like nobody wants to be like. There's some coaches that are out there doing it for years and years, but it requires a lot of energy and a lot of time. Like, but if you love it, you know what I mean, like this can be like this is a career. You know what I mean, this is what it is. It's a career. Um. So man, yeah, just enjoy it and love it. I mean,
There you
that's all
go.
I got.
That's,
What you got?
that's good with me. That's good with
Is
me
it?
right there, man.
Okay.
You
I
gotta
mean,
enjoy it. You just gotta enjoy what you do. At the end of the day, it'll
yeah.
come right. It'll come to you. And at the end of the day, sometimes you may try out different things, and then you have to figure out which one you like the best.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just do one thing, and next thing you know, you like, I never want to do anything else with my life. And
Exactly.
at the end of the day,
Mhm.
that's where you were meant to be. And it just
Exactly.
sometimes you just find it earlier than than
Yeah.
later. That's all.
Yeah, some people take forever, man. Some people take until they're 40, they're 30 to find out what they're doing. Like, it's never a fucking rush. You know what I mean? It's never a rush to be set somewhere. And that's just the culture that we're in. We're like, well, we're out of college, like we have to know exactly what we do. But like, man, how many people that you know that are successful have degrees in something that they don't work under? You know what I mean? You have the
Mm,
privilege to do that. You know what I mean? So take your time, be prepared to fail and not like things. You know what I mean, like I said before, man, I could have been a college strength coach. Like I had opportunities doing that stuff. I just didn't, and like I enjoyed coaching it. I didn't enjoy the other aspects that came with it. The lack of time for myself, the lack of my own decisions of how I wanted to do things. You know what I mean? Like I was
right.
grateful to be in the spots that we're in that I can learn that stuff. I mean, just being a GA, but I mean, you have to know it. You can't just be like, I want to be a college strength coach. You do it and hate it and then stay with it. You know what I mean? There's other opportunities for us out there.
Exactly.
For sure, for sure. But I mean, that's all I got. That's all I got right there. So why don't we go ahead? Why don't we talk about your next article? What's your idea? What you think?
Um, I'm working on a name still. I have two different names.
Mhm.
Probably almost doing go with one of them. But primarily it's talking about how a lot of people to this day monitor their weight. And it's more psychologically damaging than it is good, because if you only think about how much you weigh, having to get to this certain number, and that's all you're thinking about, and all you're doing is every day looking at if the scale went up or went down. You know what I mean? It's bad.
Yeah,
It's really causes a bad psychological effect on you, and
yeah.
that's mostly where I'm gonna go with it. Things you can do primarily to stop that, how to view the scale. It's gonna be it's gonna be fun.
Okay,
Fun little article.
okay.
Can't
All
wait
right,
for it.
yeah.
Can't wait for it. I'm working on it.
All right, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Try.
Yeah, I don't know what my next article is going to be at all. Like I don't, but I think that's part of the process. I like so. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell. I mean, we might as well talk. We still have a little bit more time. We might as well talk about like our writing ideas and like where it comes from. So for me, I mean, a lot of my writing ideas just comes from experience and what's going on in my own life right now. You know what I mean, how I kind of think. So I mean, when I'm actually stressed, I actually write more. It's starting to become like therapy for me. Control versus ownership was the point that I was just frustrated and fed up with something that I had to write it, and like it was so therapeutic that I didn't know what to write for my next one. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know what to write for my next one because I felt like I got all my energy out. But I also think that I need to go ahead and kind of switch it up and start putting some actual like strength conditioning um topics out there. So I think
Okay.
probably my next one would be implementing mobility within training, which is something that I do. So the way that I coach or the way that I program a lot of my athletes, like my runners and stuff like that, um, like I talked about before with my lockdown strong program to Marcus, I like to do everything in the tri-set. So let's just say my first tri-set is a squat and a dead bug. I like my rest period for my athletes to be mobility drills. Um, because
Which is pretty cool.
number one, what happens is that when the hell else are you going to do mobility drills instead of the end or the beginning to force them to do that? But then what happens is they'll never do that. They'll never do it at home. So kind of enforcing it in it. And at the same time, during that time, they're warmer to actually get into the positions, and then the mobility actually helps them with whatever else they're doing. So like sometimes if I have somebody that has like horrible fucking hips or they got something going on like with their mobility around that area or their ankle or stuff like that, let's say we're doing squats, I'll go ahead and I'll add some squats in during that period. You know what I mean? Or not, I won't add squats, but I'll add a hip mobility drill in there to allow them to open up and allow them to
All
kind of
right.
like work on their internal external rotation or stretch out their groins, their hip
That's
flexor, kind of just like allowing them to relax during that time. But it's also a
got some
rest period
body.
at the same time. You know what I mean? So
What was
it's a
like
rest
that?
period so they can go back and they can go ahead and get that quality work in when they get up there. And in the same breath, when you go ahead and do that mobility in there, so it's just like foam rolling, and it's like foam rolling your lat and doing a pull up. What you're doing is that you're working on the eccentric motion and you're getting more range of motion and allowing more fibers to fire as you're pulling up, because you're allowing that to stretch and you're actually warming that place up. So you're actually building more size and getting more strength because you're properly in the right ranges of motion. So I kind of want to
Tricking
mess with
people.
that. So I kind of want to
Tricking
mess with
people. I
that.
love it.
What?
So you're tricking people out here.
I'm,
I love
I'm
it.
tricking people out there. That's all it is. You get me? And I mean, it's also great because it makes people feel good, and that's kind of my wheelhouse, is making sure that people um, not only are strong, but they feel good throughout the day. They feel good when they're running. They feel good when they walk. I mean, like, nothing's worse than being sore and having a shoulder problem that, I mean, could have been worked out because your chest was fucking too tight. I mean, because we sit like that all the fucking time. So why not we put some mobility within the training itself? Not only work on like the flexibility and work on loosening that spot up, but strengthening it at the same time. So
Sure.
I'll
No, I
figure it
love
out.
it. Like I love it. Like for me, like my training, my writing style is
Mhm.
more on the aggressive side. On the aggressive side, because I love to spark a debate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always two sides of every coin, and
Mhm.
I want both sides to actually sit down and talk about what their beliefs are in a civil manner, so that each person can understand
Mhm.
why that person see things this way compared to the other. So
Yeah.
I like to write to spark up a debate
Yeah.
because I think we all
I
should
mean,
need to
that's the only
talk to
way
each
to learn.
other.
That's the only way
Exactly.
to fucking learn. You know what I mean?
Be-
It's to find somebody and know that they're not always right, and know that you're not always right. I mean, those
Mhm.
debates are great because then you learn something new and be like, well, wow, like that makes sense to me. Like I'm never gonna I like my thought process is I want to talk to somebody who puts a motherfucker on a Bosu ball to do some squats. Like, why are we doing that? And then they go ahead and they tell me and they have a reason to do that. You get me? If you have a why to do anything that you put into a program, then I respect you.
Yeah, 'cause
But it
you
has
can
to be
tell
a
somebody
sound
else,
why.
huh?
It has
Yeah,
to be
because that way
it has to
you
be a
talk to
sound
that
why.
person.
What
Yeah, you
happened?
talk to that person. You talk to the person. You figure out why. If it
Mhm.
sounds logical, you be like, you know what? Okay.
Okay.
Somebody else ask that person. You can be like, well, this is why this person is doing it.
Exactly. I mean, this is why
So,
we're doing it. You get me? So just don't do anything. I think that's one of the big things about training in general is don't do anything just to do it. Do anything to have a reason. And for the new coaches, like I talked about in one of my previous articles, if you put something in a program, you better know how to fucking coach it. You know what I mean? Don't put anything in the program that you don't know how to coach or you don't know how to explain to a 6-year-old. You know what I mean?
or
Like
don't know
if
how
you
to
don't
do
or don't
yourself.
know how to do in general. You know what I mean? I don't like I can coach power cleans, but I don't coach them well enough to get somebody good at them. And I can respect so I won't do it. But I believe there's a reason to put power cleans in a program. You know what I mean? And I can go ahead and learn it, but I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Because it's just something I'm not comfortable with. You know what I mean? That's
Mm.
something that people respect. It's just like I'm not gonna go ahead and do things that I don't feel comfortable coaching you to, and I don't feel like you're comfortable learning. I only give you shit you need. I don't give you shit you want. Same time. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I don't know. If you got anything else, we'll wrap it up there. Okay.
No,
So
nothing else would be good,
nothing
man.
else. Okay. All right. So this is the two bald heads in the group. Okay. Signing off. We appreciate
At
all the
least,
love.
at, at least I got muscle though.
You can go fuck yourself while I finish this outro. Okay.
Yeah, you
So
try. Yeah,
you go ahead and do that. Let me finish this outro. Thank you for all the love and support, you asshole. Okay. Thank you
please,
for all the.
everybody,
Okay.
please pray for Evan to build some muscle this year, the brand new
Blah, blah,
year.
blah, 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 blah. At
He's
least I'm gonna.
trying to, he's trying to lift more weight and build a little more muscle. Please give him your support. He needs it.
I'm gonna mute you in like a second. I seriously am
All right,
gonna mute
I'm
you.
done. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done. I'm
All right.
done.
So again, we love all the support that you guys been giving us.
Nah, I'm not done. I'm
And
not done.
you're
You
gonna
bought.
go on mute. You're gonna go on mute and mute. Okay. We love all the love and support you guys have been giving us during this time. Okay. Again, Texas is gonna open soon, so we're still gonna give you guys support. We're still gonna give you guys articles, videos, and all that stuff. And actually, Marcus, the muted guy, and Terrence and I are also having a podcast or a Zoom cast every Friday from now on. This week we're gonna have Marcus's coach, Joe, on talking about some things. Okay, what do you want, bro?
It's on Thursday.
Okay, it's on Thursday. I'm sorry, it's on Thursday. Okay, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. But we're not gonna go ahead. We're not gonna do anything until Friday to actually like put it on anyway. But we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk to Joe, ask him some questions. He's gonna ask us back. Joe's a great bodybuilding coach. He's out of Jersey. Marcus is coach. Man, like this guy is fucking great. Very knowledgeable at what he does. So I'm excited to talk to him, and hopefully you guys are excited also. But yeah, again, a like and a share go a long way. Please subscribe to the YouTube page if you guys have time. You guys watch this whole thing. And hopefully soon, not only will we start doing the Zoom cast, but we'll start doing a podcast on Zoom to kind of give you guys some more content and I mean, hear us talk. I mean, I think we're great, except for Marcus. But anyway, okay. That's all we got. So wish you guys the best, and hopefully you guys had a great Mother's Day. This is the Coach's Vault signing off. All right. See you later, Marcus.
Have a good one.
Asshole.